uses it on the hard drive. So he has my hard drive for hours because he's editing it from the hard drive instead of copying over to his own hard drive system. Mike's an idiot. Recording with the Sena. And recording with the 360s, but in regular mode. I can never remember if I locked the door to the garage. That means I always got to do something stupid. Either get out the bike or get up and look. It is locked. Okay. Let's see about walk mode. It's very handy. Very handy. Let's close the garage. There we go. Good day, everyone. Moose here in my driveway. Backing out slowly on this Friday, the 8th, or is it the 9th? I can't remember. But it is Friday, November. So, one of those days. Present mileage on the bike, 50,661 miles. We're off to work for the last day of the week. Back to the weekend after this. Still got a dirty windshield. And I'm not recording over here. God damn it. I'm noticing a trend here. I keep forgetting to push record on the camera on the front of the bike here. There we go. Now we're recording on all the cameras. So, what can we talk about on the way to my job? That does stink. So, I was recently listening to a few things on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think. Everyone's pretty much going to know who Joe Rogan is. I think it's the Joe Rogan Experience or something like that. I've never really watched his program much, but and the reason I went on there is something really stupid, right? I saw this little short video of Joe Rogan talking to Elon Musk, and it was on, I guess, the most recent programming they had 3-4 days ago. It was right before the election took place. Boy, it was windy. And anyways, Joe Rogan mentioned the Apple platform, Apple cell phone, the Apple ecosystem, and how he has wanted to try to switch to the Android, for years, or wanted to try it, and he recently did that, and he said he just couldn't get behind it because the ecosystem that Apple had built is not... Android doesn't have... I'll say this, I'm going to piss people off. People have Android, people have Apple. I guess they don't have the same system put in place because Apple is very constringent on how their items work. They have basically a walled layout of how their systems work together, right? So Apple phones talk to one another easily. I mean, AirDrop, FaceTime, iMessage, and everybody who has an Apple product, or most people who have an Apple product, know that that ecosystem works pretty damn well. It works pretty good to one another. And you try to throw an Android into the mix, and that it doesn't communicate properly. You got to do it through third-party apps and whatnot to try to get the same function if you're used to having it already by belonging to the Apple ecosystem. Now, I was an Android user for many years. And when I switched, it was right after that trip that I took with my friend Art and Mike and Harley Trek. the one where Art wrecked his motorcycle on the curves down in Asheville, North Carolina. I want to say it was, well, see, the first hoot was in 2016. So, 2017 then? Seems to be, in my mind, the right year that we went on that. I still had the Triumph, but I rode the Road King. Art had his CVO Street Glide. Mark had Cash, and Mike had, I think Mike had Gemma. And we met down there at a hotel and went riding in Asheville. And I want to say it was 2017 that we did that. I'll see if I can find some photos somewhere from it and throw it in here so I can know if that's correct. Anyways, on the way down there, whatever year that trip took place, I put my cell phone, my Android, my Samsung 4 or 5. That's how long ago this was. It's the last Samsung that had the reader in it for TVs and stuff, where you change the channel. I can't think of the actual name of that. I'm speeding. And anyways, I put it down inside that little housing that I put on the Road King. Oh my God, I can't think of anything. Words are not coming to me. What are those things called? The lower fairings on the Harley, the Road King I had, they're the same as the Ultra. Those aftermarket ones I put on it, they have that little pocket. And some reason I didn't think anything about putting the cell phone in there. I thought it would stay dry. If anybody's wondering, at least the aftermarket ones, it turns out it did not stay dry. And I totally swamped my phone. I mean, I ruined that thing. The water damage was just horrific. Or at least I thought I ruined it. I started working again later, but it was that point where I realized I needed a new phone. And I came back from that trip with no cell phone. And at that point in time, I still do have one. I had a work phone only. Now I have a work phone and my personal phone because I got tired of having old technology in my pocket, so I went with my own cell phone, which oddly enough I still carry older technology. I'm running the iPhone 14 Pro Max still, because the 15 didn't do anything more, and the 16 doesn't really have enough on it for me to go. I need to switch right now, and I'm content with my phone for another year. I'll probably switch up next year. Anyways, that being said, I switched to iPhone right after that. I got the iPhone 7 through work. I thought, why not? I'm not paying for it. I get to try out a different ecosystem. Mike and Mark were just heads over heels how this thing worked. They love their iPhones. And I got into that system. And then shortly after I got the iPhone, I went, well, I like this. I got the iWatch. All right, okay, cool. And so now I had the iWatch, the iMac, not the iMac, the iWatch, the iPhone. I already had an iPad, because that's one of the first things I bought from Apple, because I wanted a tablet. I started out with an Android tablet, not a Samsung, just an Android tablet. And so I got into this ecosystem, and I started seeing how easy it was to transfer files back and forth using the AirDrop, because, you know, a lot of times you try to email something, or I'm sure there's third-party apps for transferring files like that. I'm not saying they don't exist. I just don't need them because I'm part of Apple. At least I'm doing something with an Apple product. Well, that got me looking a few years later. I want to say 2020-ish, and I bought my first MacBook, or my only Mac, actually. I got a MacBook Pro that I still use, and it's still quite capable, even though it's getting on 4 or 5 years old now. And with Apple products, everything just worked together really well, or at least with limited amounts of problems. So I started editing on the I bought the Mac so I could edit video more. I went from an IBM desktop that I built, which I still have. It's probably still a pretty capable computer itself, because it's a nice desktop. It sits underneath the desk. I don't use it anymore. But I wanted the Mac to edit videos with, so I bought LumaFusion. No, I bought Final Cut Pro when I bought the Mac, so I had that installed, pre-installed on there, and I got a 2 terabyte hard drive, and you know, when I did it, I got near top of the line of everything they had because I figured I'm buying this thing once, and you know, might as well get the good stuff, not skimp. I think now I'd even go with a bigger hard drive if available. So, and I found out how easy it was to transfer files between the iPhone, the Mac, and the iPad over airwaves, right? I didn't need to plug it in. I didn't need to find it as a drive. I just airdropped it to myself. Boom, there it is. And I still do that, and it's so capable. Even when I'm using the iPad Pro that I have, which is, again, probably older than the MacBook. I think it's, you know, I bought that in 2019 probably. Still working good because they say Apple products, or a lot of people say Apple products last or for years after what the competitors might. And I've never had to worry about defragging on Mac. It's never slowed down on me like my IBMs did. I know growing up, my father, when he was alive, and everybody else said, well, iMacs are for people who don't know how to use a computer. That's what they always said, and I said it, never knowing, not having one. And to a certain extent, it could be a true statement in a way because they're user-friendly items. I do have trouble doing some of the stuff I did on an IBM because in daily life I use an IBM-compatible computer at work and everything else. I'm used to Excel and Word, and, you know, the file systems, how to find hard drives. I'm more capable on that style computer than I am on my MacBook Pro. So when I got to do something on the MacBook, which is not very often, I usually have to look up a video on how to do that. And I used to be pretty computer savvy, but not in Mac. And I'm sure I could learn it better, and I probably should, because I'm planning on staying with Mac because I love it. Certain times I hate it, but most times I love it. It's just the ease of use, the fact that it's working good. I'm getting good at getting my file systems where I want them, understanding that, and I know they cost more than an IBM, comparable IBM, and that's probably a pretty true statement, although I don't think the price range for comparable items, again, is that drastic. I'm probably still within $1,000 more, at least, I would think, but I haven't looked at the new MacBook Pros lately. It's like it's wet over here. To see if how much they've gone up in price or what the comparable is to, because I haven't needed it yet. I'm sure in another 2 years I'll probably want to update or upgrade my Mac. But right now it seems to be working. I'm noticing a little bit slow here and there sometimes on some video stuff because I'm running 8K sometimes out of this thing. And it still does it. Although lately I've been just running 4K because I've been using it as a basic camera, not a 360 camera. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on it? I mean, how many of you use Mac? I'm not that person who's going to say Mac or Apple. I guess I should say Apple's just better. You know, some people say that. You know, that it's just, you know, if you use this, you just don't understand it. This is better. I think it all depends on what works for you and what works the best. Maybe it depends on what you can afford. If it is a price difference, cell phone wise and stuff like that, they're pretty similar, I think, within, you know, a small percentage of what the cost is. I mean, many of you maybe have never even used a Apple system, so you don't know what I'm speaking about, and you probably have no qualms about the fact that you've probably found ways to make your system work well for you. And IBM and Android, they work well. You know, I think Android's a Linux-based system, isn't it? I want to say, I might be wrong on that. And I used Linux for a while too, mind you. I tried to learn how to use that a little bit, and I thought that was kind of cool, but I didn't have the extra available time needed to learn another operating system on top of the one I'm already trying to learn with the Mac, because it's already so different. So, but yeah, if you ever get a chance to try to transfer files between something and you got a Mac, you probably know what I'm talking about, how easy it is. You know, I mean, when I was at Mike's place, he wanted a video file I had, and had he had a Mac, I could have just boop, 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 transferred it right over to him, no problem, AirDrop. but because he had an IBM compatible computer, a Lenovo, which is a damn nice computer, by the way, because they're business laptops, so they're quite amazing machines. I had to get a hard drive out, plug the hard drive in, do it the old way. I had to transfer it. I mean, maybe there's a better way. I don't know about it. I'm getting old. I'm not really up on technology, so if there's something better out there, let me know, because I'd love to know it. I guess I could do my own research. But anyways, I had to do the hard drive, give him the hard drive. And of course, I gave him the hard drive to use, and instead of using it and copying it off the hard drive, this dipshit uses it on the hard drive. So he has my hard drive for hours because he's editing it from the hard drive instead of copying over to his own hard drive system. Mike's an idiot. I'm just kidding. He's not. He does some stupid shit just the same as his friend Moose does. I'm like the king of it. Two dumbasses in a pod right there. The Goldwing twins. Two fat guys on the Goldwings. That'd be Mike Haley 7 and Moose's channel. If we live closer, we probably have that channel. The Fat Goldwing Twins. Two morons on a Goldwing. Going through life. Look at windows. Anyways, I'm going to stop up here and take this stuff off the bike and go to work. I think I did a little faster this time, so I'm not running as far behind as I was last time. And yeah, I think everything's looking pretty good there. Stop up here and take a look around and go from there. Anyways, turning off the automatic canceling blinker button on this bike, possibly one of the best decisions I ever made. Life is so much easier now. I mean, I gotta remember to shut it off when I turn, which I do pretty well with. I think 96% of the time, maybe. I'm just throwing out a bullshit number. But yeah, you just gotta remember to shut it off. But Jesus, this bike, you'd be shocked at how terribly often you have to re-hit the blinker, re-hit the blinker, re-hit the blinker. It just turns off so damn fast. It's pathetic. I'll try something here. Alright, so let's take the cameras off and get our butts to work. I love this spot, man. This is like one of the prettiest spots around here, probably. Even with the power lines in it and stuff, it's just stunning, especially in fall. Man, beautiful out here. Summer's nice too. There's a pond over there, of course, but there's water that runs all the way around the back of this, I guess. I've been seeing some of it when I walked it. I need to walk it a couple more times. I really ought to bring my puppy Scout, or my dog Scout, out here, teach her to walk out here. I think she'd like it. But I appreciate everybody watching. I'm going to get my butt to work. You'll have a great weekend.